Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming and finally Season 7 of Diablo 4. If you're a bit out of the loop or just want an overview of everything important about this new season, then this is the video for you. Let's run down all the new mechanics and details you'll want to have in mind going in, so let's begin. First up, Season 7 launches in a matter of hours at 10 AM PST, which is 6 PM GMT my time here in the UK. For the first topic, we're going to talk about the seasonal questline reputation system. Naturally, we'll be following these again. Maybe it'll be more involved this time. But either way, we're going to find out that the Whispering Heads have disappeared from the Whispering Tree. It turns out they're claiming bodies to use as their own. We're called to help by the Witches of Hazawar, a small swamp coven tied to the Tree of Whispers. With their help, we learn witchcraft, which we use to sort of find the missing heads and bring them back to the tree. The questline begins in Gear Cull though, and no doubt should be a main focus of those who want to unlock the powers as soon as possible. Naturally, as always, there's a reputation system linked with the story, and as always, you can get one resplendent spark for completing it from mythic unique crafting. Interestingly, they've been changing the reputation system to be a bit more relaxed in the last few seasons, but this one is directly linked to whispers. We're going to be generating reputation by completing whispers, so it's a key part of the season. That reputation will also help you unlock powers, as we'll soon talk about. On that note though, there is a new hub and new whispers this season. They've given the Tree of Whispers an uplift, a kind of mini town. Now instead of just a chest in the ground and a couple of ghosts, the Witch Coven will be there and other important useful NPCs. Alongside that, there will be lots of new Whisper tasks to complete on top of the usual roster, many of which will be linked to the new content like Headhunts. Now during Headhunts, you can also find the Raven of the Tree, which is like a mini Tree of Whispers, allowing you to turn in your Grim Favor and get a cache right there on the spot while you're out in the world. So you could reset your currently capped 10 out of 10 Grim Favor rather than having to go back to the tree, hand it in, then return again. So it should smooth out the flow of doing many whispers at once, which we'll be doing this season. Lastly, I should also mention that there's a new type of cache, the Ancestral Caches. These will guarantee that you get an ancestral item from that cache type, so it's probably going to be the one to pick whenever it does get offered. Right, so I've mentioned Headhunts a couple of times. What actually is that? Headhunts will function like we've seen, say, with a Season of Blood, a new special subzone for the season that changes the zone that it's active in, like a Helltide would be. Here we fight the new monsters, the Head Rotten, gathering heads to return to the tree. Inside these areas we have lots of new whispers to do, alongside rewards for witch powers. By completing the whispers in the Headhunt zone, it generates an exposed rue, which has a cocoon. You open that, and it might burst out with rewards, or it could spawn with a unique Head Rotten bosses. So the more you do, the more chance you'll actually find one of these bosses, and they seem to be a big deal. It's said that when one does spawn, everyone in the zone can help take it down. So it'll be a good idea to pay attention to the map while you're in there, to rush the boss that does spawn if someone finds one. The map was pinging its location in the footage they showed, so yes, it should be pretty much like the Helltide boss, just spawning randomly around the zone wherever a player finds one. Each boss also has a chance to have one of the missing heads that we're looking for, which will be taken back to the tree for important rewards. But a big part of why we're doing it is that we're generating Restless Rot, which is a resource that we can use for seasonal power. The new seasonal powers are the Witchcraft Powers and the new Occult Gems, as we'll soon talk about. Beforehand though, we want to talk about a new mechanic that's important to think about, the Rootholds. A new micro dungeon that has dense head rotten and rewards within. Inside you'll find rites, rituals and ceremonies, but basically you can choose between the options to increase the challenge but offer more rewards. So you can hover over the options, pick what you think you can handle for the best rewards possible. Once triggered, the dungeon will actually begin and you'll clear through it hunting down the exposed roots. These Rootholds will always have a boss at the end too, which can be a great way to find the missing heads, important for the Occult Gems. However, to enter a Roothold, you'll need a Whispering Wood Sigil. We get these from Whisper Caches we'll be generating en masse this season. But you also can find them in silent chests, which is a nice little update to that system which has always been a bit meh. Definitely worth having a few keys on hand then, because the silent chests are going to be more common in the Headhunt zones. Anyway, we use the wood sigils like you would a dungeon sigil, find it in the key tab, click on it, and then it'll activate the hold on the map, letting us teleport straight to it. But now let's cover the two new power systems. Firstly, the new witch powers. These are cut up into 4 types, the main 3 and then the lost powers. They're going to work very similar to vampire powers. You'll have 6 slots total to equip. One will be for a unique power and then the other will be 5 different normal powers. The big difference here compared to vampiric powers is that most of these powers are actually interesting, like real abilities or impactful passives. There's 25 of them total, and the different types are known as Eldritch, Psyche, and Growth and Decay, and then the unique one, Lost Powers. To unlock the powers, you'll need to earn Coven's favour via completing Whispers. That's the reputation system, and then as you can see at different ranks, you unlock more witchcraft. So you just progress that system to have new witchcraft options at the different altars. Then you offer Restless Rot, which again we earn via Headhunts, at these altars, unlocking the power we're choosing. Restless Rot will also be used to upgrade the powers, since at set ranks, they even get new perks, making it worth doing. Thankfully, you only have to do this once per season though, meaning alts will have all the progress you've already made so far. Now looking at an altar, we get this list of powers we can choose to unlock. The average price for normal powers is going to be 25 Restless Rot, where the unique powers like Vengeful Spirit and Doomorb, those are set at 100. On the right side you can see the Witch Power menu, which gets its own tab this season. There we have the main unique power equipped at the top, and then under that the 5 normal powers below. Below all of that, we can see the 25 powers of the season. The grayed out ones are obviously powers we've not yet unlocked, but the ones we do have a little number at the bottom left of them to show you what rank it's at the moment. In this menu, you can also click on any of these powers you've got and spend rot to upgrade it like so. But, you know, the Forgotten powers work a little bit different. These will be found at Forgotten altars that are randomly found in dungeons. So when you're blasting through a dungeon, make sure you're always keeping an eye out for one of these Forgotten altars. When you see one, just click on it and that unlocks a power. Now apparently if we find more and more lost altars, these can even upgrade powers for free, which is nice. But upgrading lost powers can also be done in the normal way. It's just going to be more expensive on the rot, since they're much more strong, I guess. Ultimately, there's lots of powers to choose between, and they're going to be very potent as part of builds in Season 7. But there's that other seasonal power. Let's talk Occult Gems. As I mentioned, you'll bring the missing heads back to the Whispering Tree. Speaking with Gelena, the tree, you have a special tab called the Occult Library. Now in exchange for heads you bring back, you can craft Occult Gems, of which there are 19 options total. Occult Gems go straight into gem slots, like you'd put a ruby or a skull or whatever. And they're pretty damn potent. As you can see, they do give you a bump to armor and element resistance, which is really nice. But then a unique bonus tied to witchcraft. They're meant to work in unison with different witchcraft powers, enhancing certain power combos. So one example here is the Elder Sigil Gem, which improves the damage of certain skills if the target is currently affected by a hex. So if you're using your witch powers to run a hex setup, then that would be a good choice potentially. So expect to have X and Y witch powers, which means you probably want to run these occult gems that combo with them, that kind of thing. Alright, so that's the new power systems. Let's talk about one fantastic thing that's finally coming in Season 7. It's the Armory. A fantastic quality of life tool we'll be using at long last, and it lets us save up to 5 different loadouts. We use these to set up what equipment, skills and skill tree, paragon and boards, the core of your build, whatever that is, you imprint that onto one of the 5 slots, which then lets you swap between them after that initial setup. It means changing from build 1 to build 2 is going to be much less nightmarish after the very first time you do it. But why would you swap builds? Well, some builds are just going to be good at clearing different content and bad at others. A build could be great at pit pushing, but doesn't work so smoothly in open world content, where maybe you want like movement speed and AoE clear. Maybe you're hunting bosses, and so you want to set up for single target boss killing. This lets you set these things up and swap between them smoothly for whatever content you plan. It should open up a new version of the endgame where we're not always focused on basically one build, but maybe a couple, maybe even 3. It just depends on the meta of your class in that season at the time, but it should prove useful to everyone, big picture. Big details are the fact that slots are character bound, so you won't have to share the 5 slots between characters, thankfully. It costs no gold to swap between the loadouts. You just need to interact with the Armory in the right locations, like Sanctuary, the Citadel, the Tree of Whispers, or training areas. But that brings us to the last section of the video where I'm going to list off some important things quick. Firstly, yes, there's new aspects and uniques this season as always, but with that comes a mini facelift to Ancestrals and uniques, which is really nice. You know that RNG that occurs when you find an item? You get this aspect or that unique. But the question is, did it roll well? Did the power roll low, mid, or high? For some reason in Season 6, the average rolls were so low. So, in Season 7, Ancestral items will automatically drop with higher rolls for their aspects, which is going to be great. And for uniques, the power floor is also going to be increased if a greater affix is on the unique. That power floor seems to go up per each greater affix on the item, so that's going to be great too. In short, you're going to find higher aspect rolls and powers easier in Season 7. Next, another new system is to do with jewellery crafting. It means your leftover gem fragments mean something. There's going to be a new tab at a jeweler that lets you convert shards into RNG rolled items, meaning you can choose to craft amulets or rings in exchange for gem fragments, maybe helping you roll the aspects you're looking for or find something useful. So the gem fragment resource that does eventually become relatively useless after you've got what you needed from it can still serve a purpose for the whole season now, which is nice. Another topic would be, say, the season journey, which has some small changes. While little is known at what's in each stage right now, they've told us they've made it easier to do the first few stages, helping newer players sooner. This will provide nice aspects relevant to new or interesting builds each stage, logically helping players get to those faster, which seems good. But on the other hand, the later and final stages are going to be a lot harder than normal. But in exchange for that, you'll unlock the first flying pet of the game, and importantly, one resplendent spark from mythic unique crafting. So, worth the effort. Real quick as well, another topic is how they've updated the class quests long last. You no longer have to do them over and over if you don't want to. Basically, if you've done it before on the class you're playing, then you don't have to do it again. Let's say you played a rogue and you've completed the class quest. No rogue from then on has to do the rogue class quest to unlock its passive powers. Instead, they just get given to you as you hit level 15 and level 30, so that's awesome. However, there's a new type of cache called Archtype Caches. These provide specific rewards based on the cache. So in this example, we have a pyromancy cache, so it's got fire-related items within. One offense, one utility. These will be gifted to you during the season journey, which is good, or say part of a greater cache, but one is guaranteed rewarded to you if you go do your class quest. So you could go do your class quest again, even though you don't have to, in the hopes of getting one of these Archtype Caches relevantly for your current build. That could be really useful during leveling if it's a key or important aspect. So we might still be doing them. But yeah, that's going to cover it for the big changes and details to know about for Season 7. There's still quite a lot more going on, some subtle stuff we're definitely going to cover throughout the season here on the channel in more depth, but I wanted this overview to be understandable, helpful, and relatively quick. So I hope it was. For now then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.